Here's something most men don't understand about mature women, and it changes everything once you do. A woman who has lived enough years, who has experienced enough relationships, who has heard every possible variation of sweet talk and romantic promises. She doesn't respond to words the way younger women might. She has sat through countless dinners where men perform charm. She has received every type of compliment imaginable. She has read all the texts designed to impress. Words lost their power with her years ago. What actually reaches her? What genuinely opens that carefully guarded heart she has spent decades protecting is something far more fundamental and primal. It's touch. But I'm not talking about generic touch or the awkward fumbling kind you see in movies or the grabby, desperate energy some men bring. I'm talking about specific, intentional, psychologically informed touches that communicate things language literally cannot convey. Things like safety and confidence and tenderness and desire, all transmitted without speaking a single word. Where are you watching from, by the way? Drop your city or country below, because I'm Issabela, and I want to know where you all are tuning in from today. Research was conducted where strangers were instructed to communicate specific emotions through brief touches on the forearm alone. No words allowed, no facial expressions, just physical contact. The results showed people could accurately identify emotions like gratitude, compassion, and affection through touch alone, with accuracy rates reaching nearly 80%. 80% accuracy from touch with no other information. Your verbal communication wishes it could achieve that level of clarity. So, if you've ever wondered why certain men seem to effortlessly create deep connection with women, while others try everything imaginable and still end up in the friend category, this is your answer right here. It's not primarily about what they say. It's about how they communicate through physical contact. And a mature woman, a woman who has accumulated enough life experience to know exactly what she wants and what she doesn't want anymore. She responds to this on an entirely different level than someone still figuring themselves out in their 20s. Now, before I walk you through these 4 specific touches, I need to give you fair warning about something important. One of these touches seems so simple and obvious that you'll be tempted to dismiss it as too basic to matter. Don't make that mistake. That particular one is what mature women have specifically told me creates feelings they struggle to even articulate. And the final touch on this list carries such profound psychological impact that relationship therapists actually prescribe it as intervention for couples on the edge of separation. I'll explain exactly why when we reach it. Let's begin with the first touch that quietly shifts how she experiences you. Touch 1, the confident lower back placement. Before you dismiss this as standard gentleman behavior that everyone already knows, stay with me because the neuroscience underlying this particular touch is genuinely remarkable. When you place your hand on the small of a woman's back, perhaps while guiding her through a doorway or navigating through a crowded space or standing beside her at a social gathering, you're activating one of the most nerve-dense regions of the entire human body. The lower back contains an extraordinary concentration of nerve endings directly connected to the brain's emotional processing centers. A slow, confident, warm hand placed there completely bypasses rational thought and logical analysis. But here's the critical part most men get completely wrong. Speed and pressure matter enormously in this registers. A quick pat feels like something her uncle would do at a family. Completely platonic and forgettable. A heavy push reads as controlling or dominating, which creates resistance. But a slow, steady, warm placement of your full palm with just enough pressure to communicate, "I'm here and I'm aware of you" specifically, that triggers what psychologists describe as a protective bonding response in her nervous system. Her brain reads it as safety. Her body releases oxytocin, which is the primary bonding neurochemical. And emotionally, she begins associating your presence with calm and groundedness. A mature woman responds to this with particular intensity because she has spent years being the strong one in every situation. She has handled everything independently. She has been her own protector and support system. When a man places his hand on her lower back with quiet confidence about control or possession, it's pure communication. It says you don't have to carry everything alone right now. I'm here with you. And for a woman who has been carrying the weight of her entire world on her own shoulders for years, that single gesture can feel more genuinely romantic than 100 elaborate gifts. I once read a comment from a woman in her late 40s who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "He put his hand on my lower back while we were walking into a restaurant, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 15 years. I felt chosen and protected." That's the transformative power of this touch when executed with genuine intention and awareness. Touch 2, the dual hand clasp. This one gets criminally overlooked because most people think holding hands is holding hands. There's nothing special about it. Teenagers do it at shopping malls. What I'm describing is categorically different. This is when you take her hand and then bring your other hand over to envelope it completely. Both of your hands holding one of hers. Maybe during a meaningful conversation. Maybe during a quiet moment together. Maybe immediately after she has shared something vulnerable with you. This touch operates on a principle called bilateral stimulation in neuroscience. When both of your hands are engaged and actively holding hers, it creates symmetrical sensory input that her brain interprets as complete attention and full emotional presence. Therapists actually employ bilateral touch techniques in EMDR therapy to help people process traumatic emotional experiences. So, when you hold her hand with both of yours, you're literally sending her nervous system a signal that translates as you are safe here. I am fully present with you right now. For a mature woman, this lands with devastating impact in the best possible way. She has probably spent years with men who were physically present but emotionally absent. Their body was at the dinner table, but their mind was on their phone or their work or 1,000 other places. When you hold her hand with both of yours and maintain eye contact while she's speaking, you're giving her something she may have stopped believing actually exists in men. Full undivided embodied attention without distraction. And honestly, the contrast alone is what makes this so powerful for her. She has experienced years of half-hearted affection and partial presence. When she feels both of your hands wrapped around hers with warmth and clear intention, her brain practically screams, "This one is different from everyone else." And once a mature woman's brain decides, you are fundamentally different. Good luck to every other man who tries to compete with that impression you've created. Touch 3, the sustained full embrace, not a quick squeeze, not the back-patting buddy hug, not the one-armed side hug that says, "I acknowledge your physical existence, but would prefer not to fully commit to this interaction." I'm talking about a complete both arms wrapped chest-to-chest embrace that lasts a minimum of 20 seconds. And yes, that specific number matters for neurological reasons I'll explain. Research published in the journal Psychoneuroendocrinology demonstrated that embraces lasting 20 seconds or longer trigger significant oxytocin release while simultaneously reducing cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone. This means a long embrace doesn't just make a woman feel emotionally connected. It literally reduces her stress at a biological level that's measurable. Her heart rate slows, her blood pressure drops, her nervous system shifts from sympathetic activation, which is fight or flight mode, into parasympathetic dominance, which is the state where emotional bonding and openness become genuinely possible. This is precisely why relationship therapists prescribe extended embracing to couples experiencing crisis. Dr. John Gottman, whose relationship research spans over 4 decades, has recommended prolonged physical holding as one of the most clinically effective tools for rebuilding emotional trust between partners. It's not metaphorical advice. It's not a feel-good suggestion. It's a clinically supported therapeutic intervention with measurable effects. Now, here's why this matters so profoundly for a mature woman specifically. By the time a woman reaches her 40s, 50s, or beyond, she has likely experienced significant loss, heartbreak she had to process alone, betrayal that changed how she trusts, loneliness she never discussed with anyone. She has learned to hold herself together so effectively that most people in her life don't even realize she's hurting underneath. She has become her own complete support system because she had no other choice. When you wrap your arms around that woman and you hold on not for a polite 3 seconds, but for a full, unhurried, genuine embrace that communicates, "I'm not letting go until you're ready." Something shifts inside her that she cannot control consciously. Every emotional wall she has constructed, every defensive pattern she has perfected, every instinct that tells her to stay guarded and protected, all of it softens. Not because she's weak, but because for the first time in a very long time, she doesn't have to be strong. And that, honestly, is the most powerful thing physical touch can accomplish. Not exciting her, not impressing her, but relieving her. Giving her permission to stop holding everything together for just one moment. If you can be the man who provides her that experience, she won't just fall in love with you. She will choose you deliberately and repeatedly with every part of herself that she has been protecting from the wrong people for years. Touch 4, the slow rhythmic motion. This is the one I almost didn't include because of how effective it is. I feel like I'm handing out psychological cheat codes at this point. This happens when you're already holding her hand, or when your hand is resting on her arm, or her shoulder, or her knee. And without drawing any conscious attention to it, your thumb slowly moves back and forth against her skin. Small, slow rhythmic strokes. You don't announce it. You don't look down at your hand. You just do it naturally while continuing whatever conversation you're engaged in. This works because of a specific class of nerve fibers called catactile afferents. These specialized nerves respond specifically to slow, gentle, stroking touch, and they're directly wired to the brain regions that process emotional connection and social bonding. Researchers at the University of Gothenburg in Sweden found that this type of slow stroking motion activates the insular cortex, which is the brain region responsible for generating feelings of intimacy and emotional closeness. In other words, when your thumb moves slowly across her skin, you're literally activating the part of her brain that makes her feel close to you and bonded with you. And because it's so subtle and seemingly absent-minded, she may not even consciously register what you're doing, but her brain absolutely registers it at a subconscious level. Her body absolutely responds to it physiologically and emotionally. She starts feeling drawn to you in a way she might not even be able to articulate or explain. This is why I said it's almost unfair as a technique, because a mature woman who experiences this, a woman who has spent years in relationships where affection was either performative or completely absent, she will feel that small, seemingly unconscious thumb stroke and think he doesn't even realize he's doing it. This is just naturally how he is with me. And that thought, that belief that your tenderness is effortless rather than calculated or strategic, is what makes her fall. Not the grand gestures, not the expensive gifts or elaborate dates, but the unconscious, gentle movement of your thumb while you're talking about something completely ordinary. That's what genuine love actually feels like to a woman who has seen and experienced everything else. So now you have them 4 touches, each one supported by psychology, neuroscience, and the lived experience of women who have accumulated enough life experience to know exactly what real connection feels like. And the beautiful thing about every single touch on this list is that none of them require money or social status or perfect timing or elaborate planning. They require awareness, genuine intention, and the willingness to slow down enough to actually be present with the person directly in front of you. But knowing these touches is only half the equation, because here's a truth most men completely overlook. A mature woman won't wait passively forever for you to figure this out. She will be sending you her own signals. Subtle, consistent, undeniable signals that tell you exactly how she feels if you know what to look for. And most men have absolutely no idea what those signals are. They miss them entirely and then wonder why she lost interest. If you made it to the end, drop a comment that says, "I watched till the end because I read all the comments and want to see who's actually committed to understanding this material." And subscribe if you haven't yet, because I'm consistently putting out psychology and relationship content that goes deeper than surface-level advice. Thanks for watching Personality with Ariba. If you enjoy videos about human personality, psychology, and behavior, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any new videos. See you in the next video with another interesting personality insight. Until then, take care and keep improving yourself. This is Ariba, signing off.